Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is the second Hot Stove show of the offseason. Live studio audience. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We got a lot of excited Rangers fans here inside the 105.3 The Fan showroom on the first floor of the Odyssey Studios building right off of 75. You can still come on over and say hi to Reggie Atatula.
Yo, what's happening?
Kevin Gray.
My guy, your guy, my favorite guy, Jared Sandler. What's up,
Great
man? Good
seeing
to
you
see
guys.
man.
And then we're also joined by Taylor Hearn. Big round of applause for Taylor. And Brock Burke.
Hello.
How about that? You can come hang out with Brock and Taylor. You can get picture taken, autographs. I think we even have some balls that you can win and have these two guys signed. So hopefully everyone can come by. It is free, and this is the only time where I think we're going to do Hot Stove here in the showroom. So
I have no idea, but I think you should just operate as such,
Yeah.
right?
This is like limited demand.
There
so
you go.
Gotta
Yeah.
come now.
And then if
come
it
down
happens
anytime,
again,
right.
it's a bonus.
Right, yeah.
There we go.
It's a surprise. So we're going to talk with Taylor and Brock here for the next couple segments, and then we'll chop it up to end Hot Stove before we lead into the Get Right. Reggie and KG are going to kick me out, and you guys are going until 11 tonight?
11 o'clock. You're welcome to join us if you want to do some more talking.
I'm good. No, I you told me earlier you don't want me around.
That is not what I told you, Jared Sandler. That
So I
is
think
not
I'm
what I told
going
you.
to go home after that.
You've
But,
been the one gallivanting all over the world. I'm ready to see you again, talk to you a little bit. man.
I'm happy to see you guys. I was at the field earlier today. It was great. Saw
Yeah.
some of the youngsters. Saw some of the vets as well working out. Taylor, I know you've been working out of the field, right?
Yes, I have.
Brock's been working out at home, so he hasn't been in the field, but you're here now.
Here for the week.
Yeah, here for the week. We got Fan Fest on Saturday, so people should come out. You can go to Globe Life Field this Saturday. Fan Fest, I think first time at Globe Life Field because of the pandemic, and so really exciting. You got meet and greets, autographs, Q&A sessions. You got active players, alums. You can get to see the ballpark if you haven't been at Globe Life Field. It's $5 for kids, pretty reasonable. $10 for adults. Parking is free. I know that's always I get that question more than anything else. Tickets at Rangers.com/fanfest. You guys are both going to be there, wearing these nice baby blue pullovers.
They're really pretty, man, by the way.
Look nice and comfortable,
Yeah,
too.
I think so. I guess we'll see.
So
See what's in the wardrobe.
this would be what, each of your third or fourth like pullover. We get the pullovers every offseason, right? I think these might be my favorite of all the ones over the last 4 or 5
Where's
years.
yours at?
I haven't gotten mine yet. I
Okay,
will earn mine on Saturday.
Are you always like a year behind, or what? How's that?
Well, no. I was unable.
Oh, yeah, Jared gets the hand-me-downs.
They didn't have a size for me, so they had a special order. It was a little delayed, supply chain. So I'll get mine eventually. But really excited. FanFest is always a lot of fun because it means the season's around the corner. The awards dinner tomorrow night. You guys are both going to be honored. Brock is the rookie of the year. I have the
Give it up for Brock.
Yeah,
man, come
how about
on.
that?
Thank you.
I have the pleasure to introduce Brock, so that's going to be fun. And I know one of the things I'm going to share, not to totally spoil it, but you're a rookie of the year who made his debut in 2019 because what's that?
The red shirt senior, red shirt freshman.
Yeah, you had the COVID red shirt year and then the medical red shirt year, but underwent surgery in 2020, came back in 2021. Just knocking the rust off in Round Rock, and then come back last year, and you became. So actually, I need your help on this, and I'd love you guys' opinions. So Brock and Matt Moore became the 6th and 7th pitchers in franchise history since the team moved to Arlington.
Yes.
To finish with an ERA under 2, throwing at least 60 innings. But
do you remember the number? I always wonder this about guys, keeping your stats in your back. Do you remember the number, Brock?
I don't look at stats whatsoever.
Really? I want you to understand. I don't believe you right
Yeah,
now.
I was about to say, I don't know. That doesn't sound very convincing
I
at all.
tell everybody that, and they all say the same thing.
I believe him because after he made his debut, we were talking to him. This is at Globe Life Park, and I want to say there was something with Michael Young. He was getting recognized, and people went and hey, Brock, how cool is it, to pitch Michael Young? And he's like, I didn't know who Michael Young was. So I believe him.
Fantastic.
I believe
grew up
him.
under a rock, on a rock in Colorado.
There you go. I believe him when he says that. But here's what
can I just break this real quick? It's 197 last year for you.
I looked at it at the end of the year.
Okay.
End of the year,
All
I'll
right,
look at it,
fantastic.
but just during the year, it's just I've had such bad stats previous years, and there was a point last year in 2021, or I guess 2 seasons ago now, but I was so bad that I was like, I don't even want to check the stats. It's not even worth it. And I mean, you can, especially in minor leagues, you're like, I feel like I'm better than my stats, or I'm doing better than my stats, and I just don't like a number to define you. And I've always thought that way, and I did the same thing this year. And I feel like if I did well, and sometimes you get bad outcomes, especially with relievers, so I tried to stick away from the stats.
But can you avoid it? Because you got, like, all your numbers are like 17 different places throughout the ballpark.
Well, especially as a reliever, you sit there and you look at the screen and you're like, all right, let's see what batter's up. Oh, there's my ERA right there, and, coming in, and this and that and the other. I was like, oh, great. But, I'd be lying if I didn't, happen to see it when it popped up on the board. But it's not like I'd go in after every game and look at the stats, look at my
He's not searching for himself on Twitter like, hey, what they saying about me about my ERA.
There are guys that do that, but no, I do not do that. No,
okay, so here's what I'm curious about. Mm-hmm. So if, let's say, Brock and Matt each struck out 100 guys out of the bullpen. Well, someone is going to get to 100 first, right?
Right.
Okay. But with the ERA, they both did it. They both finished with sub-2 ERAs. And so when I introduce Brock at the awards dinner tomorrow night, I'm battling. I think John Blake's somewhere here. He might have the final say, so I'm curious John's thoughts. But how do I know who the 6th and 7th player? I mean, they did it the same year, and I don't like.
Do we flip a coin?
Who got there?
His was lower. He got his lower at the end of the year.
Is that what is?
The Yankees were not my friend on the last game, and he got a little lower at the end.
So he then becomes the 6th, and you're the 7th.
I think he has to get the 6th. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but to your point, like
that's a really good teammate.
It happens at the end of the season. At the same
I don't know
time,
how to differentiate.
They would kind of be tied for 6th in that way, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know. But
who got to the lower ERA first?
Yeah.
I guess you have to just go by what.
Maybe, how about this? Yeah. Matt hasn't signed with the Rangers, so maybe Brock gets
current Rangers. Yeah. There you go.
We still have time.
Maybe incentive.
Exactly.
We'll say, hey, Matt, if you do come back, you can be 6th. Brock will be 7th.
Brock will graciously give you 6th.
Yeah.
Only if you come back.
Exactly. Yes.
So Brock's getting the Rookie of the Year award, and not to take anything away from that, but the gentleman to my right is getting the Jim Sunberg Award for his work in the community, which I think we'd all agree is incredibly special and certainly more important than what goes on between the lines. And you had a really nice year in your own right coming out of the bullpen. And when the bullpen, when you were added to the bullpen with Brock and Matt, all of a sudden that became a bit of a weapon for the team. So I don't want to take anything away from what you did on the mound or your Rookie of the Year award, but round of applause for Taylor Hearn winning the Jim Sunberg Community Award. That's a pretty significant honor, and you've been pretty busy in the community here of late. I know on Martin Luther King Day you were out and about. You're always present at the caravan events and anything where there's an opportunity to help people, you're there. And you've been that way since you've been a part of this organization, and I'm sure prior to that. And I bet it's even more special because this is your home. You grew up in DFW. This is your hometown team. And now you get to not only wear that jersey, but you get to impact that community.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Just like I said, just being a guy from DFW, I've always wanted the kids from that grew up the same way as me in Fort Worth, Dallas, all over, just to be able to see a guy that made it from their hometowns as well, that grew up going to all the Ranger games growing up, going to everything they can think of though.
Now, speaking of helping the community out, what are we going to do about our Mavericks?
Well, they need some
Are
help
we going to save that for another segment, or are we going to do it right now?
Well, I don't know. You have some. You texted me some big.
Oh, you got ideas?
Oh, he's always got ideas.
Fantastic. Well, first of all, I would like anybody that doesn't know or that isn't viewing, isn't here in the showroom, which, by the way, you can still get out here, 4131 North Central Expressway. When I walked into the showroom, I was flabbergasted. Not that I didn't know that these guys were tall, but just seeing it in person. So Taylor, you're tall. Brock, you're very tall. I mean, we can get you guys out there if you need. Like we can
could
talk
use some
to
size in the middle
Luca
right now.
needs help.
We are pitchers, not athletes. So
Did you play another sport?
Now Taylor said speak for himself.
I'm speaking for myself. I don't know about T. I've never seen him.
Did you play another sport at all, Brock?
Once high school came around, I kind of
specialized
baseball. Yeah, I started baseball.
You're multi-sports.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
the road. I mean, you can.
Yes.
You can lasso them up.
Yes, okay.
That's not basketball though.
No. But basketball is an option though.
Yeah, but you can't teach
It would
height,
be.
so you guys already have that.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, just like the Mav games I went to, every basketball game I go to, those guys, I'd be a point guard now.
Yeah.
You know
Isn't
what I mean?
that amazing? Because when we're around them, and like for me, everyone's tall.
Yes.
But like Brock and Taylor in the clubhouse.
No, I just wanted to be very clear.
No, that's
absolutely.
But
I like how you went right past that. Yes,
in the clubhouse, Brock and Taylor are like they're massive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you stick like Taylor next to even Luka.
Right.
Like Luka would swallow him. Like these are big guys. I have to
I don't
wait
like
6'4".
I don't like what you're implying there.
I'm 6'4". Yeah.
Okay. I mean, isn't that crazy though?
It is. It's always fun to see. I mean, you know it, intellectually, but seeing it in person, like that actual realize, it's kind of incredible. And of course, I'm sure that gives you guys that leverage to, throw the heaters that you do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so tomorrow night awards, Saturday Fan Fest, Rookie of the Year Brock Burke, Jim Sunberg Community Award Taylor Hearn, both really significant honors, and I think it's exciting that you guys are winning these awards and also coming back and getting ready for the 2023 season. You guys have been in the organization for a few years. I was talking to Rangers general manager Chris Young earlier today, and we were expressing a shared excitement. This is the first time in a few years where this team has gone to spring training, and I know you guys go to spring training with expectations, but the fans now have a level of expectation that there's going to be baseball played with a high level of intensity after the trade deadline into September, and how about October too? Is there any? I know you guys go in every year thinking, hey, let's make this happen. Why not us? But is there any added level of excitement or, I guess, angst to get to surprise and to get this show on the road?
I wouldn't even say it's it's different than what fans say, because like last year we knew we were close. We just knew we were just a few pieces away, and then we go get DeGrom and Evaldi and still adding guys. So it's definitely taking our game up a little bit more, because now, I mean, we kind of got a taste of it last year, and we're like, okay, like we know we're only a few pieces away, and we will be able to compete with the Astros and everybody in our division, because it seems like Seattle and Houston are always adding. So it's definitely feels good to be able to go in those games and facing other teams as well, just knowing that we're going to be a lot better and be able to be in a lot of those games.
Yeah, and for sure. I mean, last year obviously we played the Astros really, really well every single time we played them. We season swept the Phillies, who were also in the World Series, and knowing that I forgot what the stat was exactly, but I know that in one-run games in the first 20 games, I feel like we won one of them, which was the difference between us being way above 500 and being right below 500. So I mean, you win all those games, and it's a completely different season. But I mean, we went out and got all these guys, and I think that'll definitely contribute to us winning those games.
Yeah. What are you guys looking most forward to in playing for a manager in Bruce Bochy, who's won 3 World Series, and now getting the opportunity to have a guy with that kind of experience leading this group, a mix of veterans and young guys, and what that means for your guys' development and for the team overall going into this year?
You want to answer first?
I can go first. I'm excited. I mean, they're and even Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, is a guy that has won and had some really good, talented arms that he's had in the past, and Bochy's won some World Series, and just being around some guys that have won games like that, and it seems like we're kind of taking a new approach this year. We're going with a more old school approach of, hey, analytics are one thing, but I mean, in the end, if you don't win, then it's useless. So we're definitely going to try to win this year and kind of put some of the other stuff to the side on the back burner and just worry about winning.
Yeah. I'd say from my aspect, it feels good to play for him, because I remember being on the couch. Was it 2015 when they won it? That was right, 2015, right?
The Giants?
Yeah.
10, 12, and 14.
14, that's right. Yeah, being those 2 years were rough, being a Ranger fan. But, I mean, he's been great, though. And just like Brock said, working with Mike has been awesome, though. Mike has been good. And, I've heard nothing but good things from him, from ex-players that have played under him. And just getting the chance to really get to know him has been great. And just like he said, the whole analytical part and stuff like that is kind of really a good balance of both now.
I can't wait. I mean,
No.
I know we've talked about this after some of the signings, the hiring of Bruce Bochy, Mike Maddox, but there seems to be, and I don't know, has anything been communicated to you guys yet? I'm sure in spring training it will be, that you guys get together, lots of meetings, and I know Bruce Bochy will obviously at that time address everyone and kind of lay down expectations. But have you guys had conversations with whether it's Bruce Bochy, Mike Maddox, Chris Young, anyone in the front office about, hey guys, we mean business and we're trying to change the culture and turn things around, or is it just one of those things that's kind of implied because you guys? Yeah. I know you said you live on a rock, under a rock, but you guys see what's going on.
It's hard to miss these signings.
You guys know what's going on. So and even if it's just amongst each other, like your text chains with your teammates, have there been like, hey, like, let's do this. This is awesome. We're ready to go.
You can definitely tell it's more serious. And obviously last year we were, expecting to win too. And the fact that we went and signed all these big free agents and these guys that kind of filled some of the gaps that we had last year. You can tell that it's going to be very serious, and we're going to be expected to win, and we're going to be ready in spring training to do so.
Yeah, the atmosphere has been different though. It's not even more so much a text chain. It's just like, I'm pretty sure when he came down, he already knew what it was, but like the working out this offseason, everybody's attitude was so different. Like, it was the same thing as last year, but it was, like, even elevated because then we had DeGrom come in there and Nathan and Heaney and Odorizzi and, even more guys as well. But, like, just feeling it. Like, it's not even – it's just, like, it's more like it's known. Everybody's like, okay, like, we did well last year, but now it's, like, time to take it up a notch, and, like, everybody's not really talking about it.
All right, I got one question. We're going to go to break. When you guys learned of the Jacob DeGrom signing, who was the first person you texted?
Oof. I think anytime we sign anybody, I was playing catch with Barlow the whole offseason. So I think I FaceTimed him.
Oh, like a little mini celebration?
Like two little girls. Like, oh my God! So I think that's who I went to.
I actually didn't text somebody. I just got out of Pilates class and I got a text from my dad.
He was just working really hard.
No, and I wasn't.
Pilates.
I wasn't really thinking anything of it. And he had called me, and then my sister, she had texted me as well. And then I get like 2 or 3 phone calls from buddies and text messages. So I was like, I didn't really get a chance to call anybody. So.
They was all calling you.
Yeah. They were like,
you learned already?
Yeah, everybody's like, have you met him? I'm like, I haven't met him yet.
Right.
Like, I put the team for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got 2 vouchers. Each voucher is good for 4 tickets to a game this upcoming season. So next commercial break, here for the live studio audience, we're going to find a way to give these away. We did autographed baseballs for people who ask questions. We had one person say, I actually don't want it. I'm a Royals fan.
Yeah, that was
a really
fascinating.
That's a questionable decision. Interesting strategy.
Yeah,
now, I'm going to defend him a little bit because I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri myself.
Yeah, no defending this, though.
But you got to take the free baseball.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah,
don't you take it and then you just, give it to someone else, maybe? Isn't that
you could.
Or you can get it and then you can be the hero and say, hey, I got this ball. I actually don't want it. You don't have to admit why. You come off as being really generous and say, hey.
I wouldn't even say that. I'd say, hey, you want a free baseball from a signed Texas Ranger?
Yeah.
And just see what your reaction is. Yeah.
Yeah, from a hometown hero.
Like literal hometown, yeah.
Or the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Literal rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Like you just threw back an investment. That's all I heard. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll figure out a way to give these away. But
we'll give it another shot again later.
You have to be present to win. But one of the questions, my man in the hat that asked about, what's your name? Kevin. Okay, so
that's a good name.
Kevin,
that's
all
a good name.
Okay, settle down.
Man.
Kevin asked about each of y'all's ratings on the show, and Brock predictably not really aware of his rating.
Why predictably? Though?
Because Brock is.
Jared?
Do you think does Brock look like someone who's sitting down at home playing the show? He didn't know who
that
Mike was.
Wait a minute. What you assuming about?
I play a lot of video games,
but not the show.
Once baseball's done, I don't even look at it.
Yeah.
What are the games that you play in order to kind of get yourself away from it?
Big Apex.
Okay,
Legends
so
guy.
first-person shooters. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get that.
Taylor's saying that.
I know he's a big Call of Duty guy.
He can have that.
Hold on, I did you guys pick up Unsigned Taylor said because Taylor's like he told a funny story about the show.
Yeah,
You said that you had was a teammate.
No. Another buddy that
plays
plays
that said he uses the show to help with his scouting reports in preparation for. So a video game is help. I mean, and I imagine if there's one, there's more than one. There's several. You tried it. You shared that in the break, but a video game helping with scouting report. Are there guys who will do that?
Yes.
It's gotten to the point where it's that realistic.
You'd be surprised at how many guys do that.
Wow.
And what are they doing? Is it just looking at the ratings to see like what their strengths and weaknesses are as dictated by, the people who build it out through the game, or is it like seeing the shape of pitches? I mean, for you, obviously, you're more concerned about the hitter. Like, how do you actually use that to help you?
So the guys I've talked to from a pitching aspect, they look at it as like where the guy's hot zone is, because sometimes MLB will put this type of stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they look at it and try to see if it's a new guy that they face or whatever it may be, guys' swings change or whatever it is. And they sometimes MLB show does it right where it's like guys are in the box, like where they're at in real life. So from what my buddy was telling me, he just uses it. He'll use like the first like 3 innings just to really get a feel of like, if I throw this slider here off of this fastball, like what will it look like? He's like, and he told me obviously it's not 100% true, but he's like it gives you a better feel of like, okay, like his swing plane is like that or whatever it is. So it's kind of is it weird? Like, yeah, but all it took was one time for me, and I was like, I'm good.
But hey, anything you can do to get an advantage, right?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
And one of those advantages that I imagine you guys are going to have this season, you guys mentioned Mike Maddox, who's coming in as the pitching coach. And, I mean, we're very lucky at 105 through the fan. One of our good friends, Derek Holland, he loves coming through and, giving us a little game. And one of the things he's talked about with Mike Maddox is just the way that he gives pitching reports, go into games. And obviously you guys haven't had the opportunity to do that just yet, or I don't know what else, you've got to work with. But what's the working relationship with Mike Maddox that you've started to develop? What's the dynamic there?
For the first part, he kind of just the first thing he told me was he walked up and introduced himself. He said, "Congratulations on the year you had last year," and he said, "But I think we can make you even better, and here's some things I'd like to work on." And I mean, right away in the first bullpen, we were sitting there working on something that could make me better than this year, and I was excited. It's hard for a guy, but when he's had as much experience as he had, you'd be stupid to say no.
Right.
So.
No, it's the same way. I was able to, I've been able to talk to him a little bit more just because he lives down here and stuff. So we've been able to break down some video and everything. And he told me the same thing. Like, he's like, hey, I know you had a good year last year. You were bullpen, rotation, whatever. He's like, look, my goal and job is just to make you a better pitcher. And he's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And sure enough, like the few bullpens that he's been in and watched, like he's really helped me out a lot.
I'm curious for you guys, too, not just the tactical side of pitching and the dynamics that go into that, but now with some of the rule changes in the game, no shifts anymore, those kinds of things. What kind of mental adjustments are you guys starting to make when it comes to some of the rule changes and what that means for your modes of attacking hitters and going about this season?
I can just say for me, like I'm actually excited for it because now I don't have to worry about trying to look in between pitches or being able to throw an inside pitch on a righty and he fisted to second base and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's just like if I give up a hit over the middle, I know realistically nobody's gonna be there. So it's like that's on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we were both in the minor leagues recently enough that we had to deal with some of the stuff. I mean, the stuff's been going on. The changes have been tested down there to like the pitch clock. And, I mean, down there you're kind of used to it anyway. So you get called up and nothing changes because that's how you had success in the minor leagues. So you just continue doing that. And I think the only thing might be the pickoff rule might be a little difficult with, if you're not communicating with your catcher well and you got to step off, that counts as a pickoff. And you do it once, you do it twice, and the runner's going to be gone. So that's definitely going to be a one, probably the only thing that I could think of that will be a big thing to get used to.
Will you, like in spring training, have to physically prepare any differently from like a conditioning standpoint? And maybe it's not as important for you guys going maybe 1-2 innings at a time, but with the pitch clock and, getting used to throwing a pitch back 15 seconds, throwing a pitch, runner on base, 19, what have you. I mean, is that something you've had to think about this offseason? Are you waiting until you actually are in an exhibition, but a game situation in Cactus League play with the clock counting down? Like how has that kind of registered with you this offseason?
Honestly, I hadn't even thought about it really much. Kind of just figured like being a guy that kind of works pretty quick, like it's not going to really affect me that much. If anything, it's going to help me out because now I don't have to worry about hitters trying to take their time in between pitches or like, I had a couple guys last year when I got down to 2 strikes on them and they knew I was, trying to put them away, they would like wait till I came set and then try to call time or like take their time getting in the box and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, just get in the box,
Yeah.
let me get this over.
Yeah, like just you're making it worse.
Especially when you're in a rhythm and you got them going and strike out, and you're going. A lot of times they'll step out of the box, try to get you off rhythm. They'll try to, like he said, the big thing that a lot of guys will try to do is you get 2 strikes on them and you're about to throw the ball. They'll step off and quickly look where the catcher's set up to try to cheat and see where it's going.
So now I'm interested though. Now, do you don't have to name names?
No.
You want them to name names?
I don't know.
Do you want them to name names? I was trying to keep it clean. Like, don't
Give them the
have to name.
opportunity to name
but
it. KG. Yeah.
Whose batting routine is the most annoying to deal with?
I didn't have to face him, but I think his name's Asdrubal.
Asdrubal Cabrera?
The guy for the Phillies. Is that his name?
Adubel Herrera?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Same thing.
He's like that guy.
That guy.
Also,
Watching him.
What does he do that specifically? Like,
It just takes forever. He
He's
does
like
all
human
this
rain delay.
stupid stuff. And I think every single time we faced him, it was like strike out anyway because he swings at everything. You're just like, well, what? You took that long to just strike out?
just to get this
come on,
strikeout.
man.
Yeah.
Trevi definitely takes way too much time.
Oh my God! You just want him to hear that.
That guy,
Taylor talking about Jose Trevino.
he just gets me fired up just thinking about it. He posted a picture of him hitting got some new wood and stuff like that, and I commented underneath. And I said, I can't wait to break those.
Did you face him last year?
Yeah, I did. Got him to fly out. He swung first pitch trying to take me yard.
Did you? Was there any like smiling or laughing?
There was laughing. He
Okay.
was running across the mound. He was like, I almost got that. I was like, no, you didn't.
You weren't laughing.
I was like, and I texted him. I told him, I was like, bro, you got to hit the weight room first. I'm like, you've been listening to Josiah way too
He said,
much.
"Get your weight up, man. Get your weight up."
Come on.
Well, I mean, clearly that was one of your guys in the clubhouse. Obviously, now he's no longer playing with the Rangers. Who are your kind of guys in the clubhouse? Who do you hang out with?
Well, I'm next to this guy in the locker room. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
we got the pair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We got our own little group of the bullpen guys.
Yeah.
We spend all
I got a
day
nickname.
together.
I got a bullpen nickname.
You know where I'm going, KG. I
Bullpen
like that.
nickname.
Yeah.
You waiting for us to say the arm barn?
Oh,
I mean,
I think
that sounds good.
We have a
kinda
group
like-
text. I think that's literally what the name of the group
The
text is.
arm bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then what happens? Okay, so you got a group text, and you guys really are, I don't know, maybe more than any other unit in the team just because you sit for most of the game and
And
you
just
maybe,
watch kind of baseball together.
So
Yeah.
when a guy gets sent down or gets hurt or gets traded, what do they like? Do you have to remove them from the group text, or how does that work?
I mean,
That's kind
some
of
of
an
the times in the
emotional
beginning, I think a lot of times guys will just leave themselves because obviously, we're sitting there talking
Yeah.
like, oh, let's do this for dinner. And they're like, kind of salty. Like, I don't really want to listen to this. Maybe when I get called back up, we'll get at it. But no, I think for the most part, guys just kind of leave themselves and come and go and kind of police themselves.
That's got to be like the most depressing thing, like to remove yourself from the group.
Yeah.
I mean, and it sucks. Is like you always forget, and then you'll be like, "Oh, awesome, this happened." And like a guy will leave, you'll be like,
"Oh man, he's not actually here." Yeah.
Hey, quickly, the Tex Flex Pack is on sale now. It includes 10 vouchers you can redeem for any regular season home game except for opening day the upcoming year. And remember, this is new schedule. You're going to get National League teams.
Yeah.
And every team, not just the Rangers, every team is going to play everybody. Now, you're not necessarily going to have everyone come through your home ballpark, but every 2 years you will, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I think it's great for fans to at least have their team play every other team, and you get to see whether it's you're watching your team on the road or at home, you get a chance to see some of the stars in the National League. But the Tex Flex plan allows you to go to any game, 10 vouchers, any regular season game other than opening day. It is giftable, and it is also very affordable. Go to Rangers.com/TexFlex to check that out. All right, so then let's do some bullpen, like teammate identification. Who's like the goofiest in the bullpen? Who's the guy who's just like keeping the energy up, but like not in a serious like pump up speech way? Like he's just constantly cracking jokes or pulling pranks.
I'm curious to see what you say because I have mine.
Oh, should we do like a what's like the game show? Well, no, like they see if they like their answers match.
Oh,
Like stand back to back with a sheet.
Yeah,
I was about to call it. I was about to call it newlywed game, but I don't know if that's the
All right,
connotation.
here, Taylor, look at me. Look at me. Mouth who you're gonna say. Okay.
Okay.
Who's your answer?
Barlow.
That's
Yep.
that's a prostitute.
There we go.
So what does he like? What does he do? Is he just what that you're
He's a
allowed to share?
big story guy. Like, he could tell you about what he ate for lunch, and it would take 4 innings. So he's just like, he's a guy. And then Johnny Hernandez is kind of the same way. When we had him about halfway through the season, he's kind of the same way. But his English isn't as good, so you like really have to pay attention to listen to what he's saying. And you're just like, yeah, and then you're like finishing sentences for him. But I mean, that normally goes on for 4 innings or so, and then normally me or him are in the game, for the most part.
All right, so who's the guy who he's kind of like the little brother you always, like in a loving way, you pick on him?
Easy one. You don't even have to finish it, and I know he thinks the same thing.
Yeah, John King.
Yeah.
John, okay, well,
For
just because he's so innocent and like
Just his antics, the
Yeah.
things he says. You're just like when your brother's always like pick, and you're like, hey, quiet. Like, that's like 9 times a game. Everyone's like, King, shh.
Often. But with me, he likes to do that as well. But he's a really big like Houston fan, obviously.
Yeah,
From
yeah,
Houston.
I know,
So like
yeah,
he's
it's
always telling me about the
unfortunate.
Rockets, and
What's there to tell?
That's what I said. And so the first thing he told me when the Mavericks traded for Christian Wood, he's like, it's not gonna be good. I was like, he's coming to a winning team. I'm like, you guys are gonna be sucking for the next like 6 years. I was like, I don't want to hear it. I was like Texans. I was like everybody. So.
He does stay.
get the
He does
first
stay
pick.
true
They
to
can't
it,
even. The Texans can't even figure out how to get the first pick.
Yeah.
Lovie Smith took what he had to take with him.
And then he went to U of H. He went to U of H, and U of H lost to Temple, right? So
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
yeah. So it's been rough.
catching all the L's.
Oh, it's been rough for him.
But it's great for you guys in the being able to talk to him, right?
Yeah.
No, that we never don't have something to say down there. So it's never like there's never awkward silence. It's like we're always talking or saying something or making fun of someone.
All right, so we talked about the group chat that you guys have, and obviously when any group chat, there's kind of people that take on certain roles. Who's the lurker in the group chat?
Lurker.
Or is everybody kind of participating at all
I feel
times?
like everyone participates pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone
Who over participates? Who's the guy that's like
Barlow for sure.
We're learning a lot about Joe Barlow.
So he's sending something on TikTok, then you got to go click on it, and go through the thing. You're just like
Barlow,
was that
stop,
needed?
all right?
Did we
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
watch that?
Yeah.
All right, here's a good one. I think who's the guy who's like in-person personality versus his text group personality is the most different. Like they're like really comfortable firing off witty text, but then you get them in person and it's like they're just not. They don't have that wit in them like right away, like eye to eye.
Has to be in the bullpen or just any
No,
guy?
it could be
Oh,
anyone.
yeah, well, let's
if you
expand
need to
this.
expand.
Corey texts like every single time I text him. I'm like, is it his wife that's texting me or is it Corey that's texting me? And then like I'll show up in person and he's like obviously Corey's. He's very like monotone and like when he jokes, it's like he says the same thing. So you're like, ha, is that a joke? Marcus kind of does the
Are
same
we supposed
thing.
to laugh here?
Yeah,
Are we supposed to laugh here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably Corey for me.
Yeah, I could probably go the same thing, Corey.
Okay, but you don't know if Maddie's the one texting because there's like
Sometimes he like puts like haha and
Yeah.
like exclamation. I was like, I've never seen you do that in person.
That's a good answer. You guys mentioned Marcus, and I know that you guys are pitchers, and so it's always great in a clubhouse when you have position players and pitchers and relievers, infielders, outfielders, and you get like someone in each group who sort of takes the form of a leader. And I've never liked the idea that there's just one leader on a team. I think that you benefit from having multiple. You don't want necessarily too many because then, but Marcus seems to be one of those guys. And last year was such an odd year. You had everything that was going on with the lockout, and it really prevented, especially a team with so many new faces and big names, really coming together with the abbreviated spring. And then, I think people forget there's like the personal side. Like Marcus is married with 3 kids, and he's moving his family here, and he's got a lot on his plate. And then he didn't get off to a good start either, which I think it's tough. New team, new people. It helps when you got like a 330 average. He ended up having a really good year, but he got off to a slow start. But now he's got a full off season. He's already moved here. He's not having to worry about that. And I've heard him talk about how great that's been for him. What sort of an impact do you guys notice him having on this team, this organization, from a leadership standpoint?
I can say just from like working out with him this offseason, he really brings. He's not a really talkative guy. But, like, the way he works, it speaks for itself. You know what I mean?
Big lead by example.
Big lead by example guy. You know, I mean, when we're coming out to throw to get warmed up and stuff like that, he's always out there taking ground balls. You know, whether if it's hot or cold or whatever it is, he's always getting it. And especially like working out with him this offseason was huge because he was like the guy that was leading the position players, you know, like seeing like Josh Smith and Mark Mathias and Nate coming in there, and like it was pretty impressive. So like getting a chance to really know him during the season was cool, but then I kind of figured it and saw it, and like it was pretty cool to see this offseason though.
I mean,
That's the same thing. I think the most impressive thing about Marcus and Corey is like those guys have been doing it for a while, and they do the same exact thing every single day down to a minute, like to the point where the trainers know that. You know, Corey's going to come in at exactly 6:35 before a 7 o'clock game and tape his toes a certain way, a certain amount of times, and like it is crazy how much like they do the same exact thing, and they obviously have been doing it for a while and have a lot of success. So it's just great to watch the way they handle things, and no matter what happens in the day or what happens in the game, they're still going to do the same thing and expect good results the next day, and just to go watch them go about their business is just really impressive.
Yeah, that was the best part though. Whenever he was going through that slump,
how he was like, yeah,
it like I he can vouch for it too. He was the same guy in the clubhouse,
no matter what.
And it really like from a social media aspect, it really kind of made me mad to see people like talking about him, thinking about he didn't care about his job and like how he was just getting lazy. I'm like, bro, you don't know what this guy like. This guy is coming in every day doing the same thing. And I remember I talked to him about it. He's like, Taylor, he's like, I'm gonna get out of it. He's like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, even after whatever his streak was, he was still coming in after the game, working out after the game, doing all this stuff after the game, no matter what the outcome was, and it was impressive.
I think that to me is what stood out, because it obviously he knew, right? He wasn't oblivious to what was going on, and it certainly wasn't as happy driving home, you know, during that stretch than, you know, from like June onward. Yeah. But you talk to him, and I don't fault guys who you can tell by their personality whether they're going well or not. Like I can't even imagine what that's like, you know, with the pressure and the expectation, and for guys like, you know, not necessarily for Marcus, but some guys, you know, they're fighting for a job, right? And you guys have been in that position where you're fighting for promotion, but for him to just be that even keel the whole time.
I remember at one point, like right before he got out of his slump, I don't know if I had any impact on it. You know, I wish I could say I did, but we were sitting down at the table and he was talking. He was like, "Hey, your ERA is like below a 1 or something right now, isn't it?" I go, "I don't know." I go, "What do you mean you don't know?" I was like, "I don't look at stats." I was like, I don't think stats should define you. And obviously he was going through some struggles, and he was like baffled that I said that. He was like, "What? No, what do you mean?" I was like, I think he's a very like analytically number-driven guy, and he was just so baffled about that. And obviously he did a lot better as the season went on, and so you definitely knew that he knew about what his numbers were not what he expected to be, and he definitely fixed that at the end of the year for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Fellas, really appreciate it. Hey, guys, round of applause, Brock Burke and Taylor Hearn.